This is Rana for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming with another edition of Movie Reviews and Observation number 30. Wow, it's been 30 full weeks since I started doing videos in March and April and May and June, the whole entire summer through this COVID. So the first movie I watched was Just Mercy. And for a 2 hour and 17-minute movie where the final 10 minutes are just giving you factoids, not that long. Michael B. Jordan, for the Creed franchise, being in Black Panther and plenty other movies, he can lead a movie. So he did a pretty good job in this movie, playing an actual person, Brian Stevenson. Jamie Foxx has been a great actor for a while, and he did a great job of playing one of the people who was wrongfully convicted. So it's a good biopic based on a true story. It's not that boring. There's a lot of interesting things that are happening throughout the movie. Brie Larson's in the movie, and ever since she did The Room and Captain Marvel, she's getting the last billing. If I were Jamie Foxx, I'd be like, can't I get the and? But, overall, pretty good. O'Shea Jackson's in the movie, so there's, some people in there you've seen before. Yeah, it was a good biopic. I would watch it. It's a very powerful movie. You see, no matter what decade we're in, how cops are and how racist people can be racist. So a pretty interesting movie. The next movie I watched was The Wild Goose Lake. And based on the description, you're like, some guy by accident kills a cop and people are after him, both the cops and gangsters, and he's got to run for the law. But it wasn't that it was a Chinese movie and I had to read subtitles. It was like lots of talking, not a lot of action going on. And it was a lot of different stories, a lot of different things happening. So it was confusing. There's too many different people over here, over there. This woman helping him or not, his wife, his kids, I don't know. It was all over the place. And it was too confusing for a movie that has subtitles. If it was a lot more clear with subtitles, it makes it to be an easier movie to follow when you understand what's going on. So, yeah, I don't know. There was people on motorcycles doing this, conventions. I don't know. It was like all over the place. The next movie I watched was The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man. Elizabeth Moss does a very good job in this movie. The plot is she leaves her ex-husband and somebody's still haunting her and bothering her. And she goes, my husband's like a leading industry person in this thing. And she thinks that her husband isn't really dead when they say he's dead. And that there's some invisible man trying to get her. And everybody thinks she's crazy. But it's her ex-husband who doesn't want to leave her alone. He's got a brother who's like the lawyer. He's shady. So it's a whole movie where it's like nobody believes her, but then, of course, she's obviously right, because that's the whole point of the movie. There's no way of her being wrong, because then the movie would end, put her in her psych ward. So, yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Some interesting things happened in the movie. Got a lot of suspense going on. It wasn't that boring. So, yeah, good amount of horror, scariness in there. But, yeah, it was pretty good. I would watch it. It wasn't that long. It was the hour 40-something. It's a 50-minute movie, so not too long. Then I watched Gemini Man. And Will Smith is my favorite actor of all time. And this movie is where he's like a number one, assassin for the government. But then something goes wrong, and and he's pissed somebody off, and they're trying to get him. But of course, who can get the number one assassin? No one. The only way to do it is himself. So they did this CGI makeup sort of thing where they have his younger version of himself. We all thought it was his son trying to get him. And an hour 50-something minute movie, not that long when it's an action movie with a lot going on. B.D. Wong from not Black Panther, Doctor Strange and the Avenger movies, he's in there. The movie had, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who had just saw playing Huntress, and she's supposedly an agent and gets caught up in this. And Clive Owen's the bad guy in the movie, so it's interesting plot, good enough action. Will Smith is really good, and it's the usual. There's some humor in the Will Smith action movie, but it's overall, pretty serious. Yeah, so I would watch Gemini Man. Really good. Then I watched Corpus Christi, another movie with subtitle. And it was Polish. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It's basically this guy gets out of juvenile to delinquent detention center. And he's supposed to go work in a small town doing manual labor. But then he doesn't want to. He goes into a church because he's been really religious. And they mistakenly think he's the new young pastor in training and stuff. And they just go with it because it's a small little town in the middle of nowhere. They're not going to call somebody up, try to get it confirmed, and then the town grows to love him. He loves there, blah, 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 blah. But, of course, it all, can't everything be perfect. Something from his past comes back to haunt him. And, yeah, it was pretty good. And, hour 50-something minute movie is not that bad. The guy did a very, very good job because, I feel like he was making stuff up as you go, Googling how to do different things. But, yeah, It was pretty good. I would watch it. I understand why I won an Academy Award for Best International Film. Yeah, watch Corpus Christi. Then I saw another DC animated movie called Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons. And they kind of try to make Deathstroke sympathy for him, that he's been this super soldier for the government and a procedure makes him heal easily, and that he's a family man, and he's got a wife, and he's got children, and he's just your regular person, and he doesn't just kill people to kill people. He kills people who are like corrupt, evil, like dictators who are horrible, like people that are like he really doesn't believe in. Then they have the Hive in this movie, and the Hive is a villain also, and he's a villain too, so it's like, okay. And there's characters like Lady Shiva and and Black, Bronze Tiger and stuff. And, it was pretty interesting. And they get the guy who played the Thing, Michael Chiklis, to voice him, so it was pretty menacing. They really tapped into the storyline of his kid, Jericho, and his daughter, Ravenger, and how, in the comics they go back and forth between, like, working for evil, working for good. So, yeah, wasn't that long. It was typical quality, an hour 20 to hour 20 minute DC animated movie, good animation. They usually get a good voice cast and a pretty good plot. And of course, it's rated R, and it is Deathstroke, so of course it's going to be bloody. I wouldn't let kids watch it. Then I watched the historical film Midway, and I was like, cool. You're going to say Woody Harrelson plays somebody, Dennis Quaid plays somebody important, and Patrick Wilson and Luke Evans all play important people, Aaron Eckhart. Then Nick Jonas is in the movie. Mandy Moore is the wife of the main character, Ed Skrein. And then there's, like, actors I'll go, like Darren Criss, who I've seen before. And you just keep going down the list. If you go to IMDb, like, you know what? I've seen that actor from that TV show. I've seen that actor from that show and that movie. Throughout the movie, I'm like, cool. I'm recognizing all these guys who have, in the movie, like David Hewlett from Stargate Atlantis and Planet of the Apes. He has a small role in this movie. So it's like, when someone's like, we're making a historical film and we need a bunch of people to be in the movie. Yeah, let's get some people who are not the most famous, but because they're playing small role. And for a 2 hour and 18-minute movie, it wasn't that bad. All these actors are in the movie based on true events. There's really not much you can do. There's a lot of battle scenes. So for a 2 hour, 18-minute movie, it's not moving slowly because it's just bam, bam, bam. The Japanese are after us. Bam, bam, bam. We're fighting back. We got all these plans, and it's simultaneously all this stuff is happening. So it wasn't like a boring drama where it's like, or just a lot of talking going on. There's a lot of action going on, So it's definitely worthwhile to watch Midway because it's not a boring 2 hour movie and it's got great actors in there. Then I watched Mel Gibson's Apocalyptico, which is also a 2 hour, 18-minute movie. It's a movie in Mayan language with English, French, and Spanish subtitles. So I went to Wikipedia like I always do every year and do coming-to-home videos in whatever year. And I obviously don't take the movies that are old, that have come to DVD for the first time, or Blu-ray, or 4K, or whatever it is. This one did not have the whole, it came to DVD, and I was like, okay, cool. And it's from 2006, 2007, so I wouldn't have gone out of my way to watch the movie, because A, it's in Mayan, which is interesting, and it's a 2 hour, 18-minute movie, and I'm not a Mel Gibson person. And it was okay. It was basically one of these, prehistoric villages where one tribe overruns another one, takes him hostage, and he's got to go back and save his family and his kid, yada, 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 and that was pretty much it. I wouldn't watch it. But Midway, yes. Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons movie, yes, but not for kids. Corpus Christi, yes. Gemini Man, yeah. Definitely. Invisible Man, yeah, it's pretty good. The Wild Goose Lake, too confusing to follow, and Just Mercy was pretty good if you stick with the full length of movie. Thanks for listening to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observations number 30. For On the Radar Entertainment Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.